Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Friday night. Glad you can all you can join me again tonight. I've got a bit of a surprise, which is also why I am a little bit late. And this is probably going to screw up my camera, so apologies for that. But that came in this morning or this evening, just as I came home. So we're gonna see how far we can get with playing around with that. I need to... My camera is being really difficult tonight. Okay, that's going absolutely wrong with my green screen. Sorry about that. Is that working? No, it's not. Is that working? I hope so. I hope my head's not going to be cut off the top there. I need to fix that one of these days, the background. One of my lights is not working right now because I didn't have enough plugs all set up for the steering wheel. So apologies that my this side of my head is a bit dark tonight. We'll see. We'll see how we manage with that. Also, I do not have a screen in front of the steering wheel right now. I just really quickly set this up in the last 15 minutes before the stream. I've got pedals sitting on the ground, so we can see if we can get some input from those, if the cables will not mess up. Hi Rodzilla, how you going? So yeah, we're gonna go and have a little bit of fun with that. We're gonna see how much of the inputs we actually can get. I have no idea how whether this is even going to be picked up, or if we need to start looking for some drivers to make it work. No idea how much is going to be picked up, but we'll see how much of our game we can actually get working with our steering wheel. Now, I'm going to cut some corners here just to see how far we can get with it. I'm not going to worry about the fact that our setup is going to change and therefore we break the setup for our normal controller that we were using before. But that is something that we do need to start investigating. But now we can. I have this set up. I've got a controller set up. Well, maybe at some point in time we'll see if we can even do something with VR controllers. We have to see. Now obviously with VR, I can run the game in VR and use the steering wheel. That should always work. Doesn't really matter that I don't have a screen in front of me there. But the real idea with the steering wheel is to eventually get a proper cockpit setup. I'm probably gonna build something myself from wood, just for $50-$60. I've got plenty of friends of mine who are automotive nuts, so getting a seat from somewhere shouldn't be too hard. And just set that up first. My daughter's actually really keen to try it all out and play with it on the PlayStation. That's also one of the reasons why I got the G29, because that one is also capable of working on the PlayStation. Full force feedback. No idea if Godot even can interact with the force feedback. So, well, actually, that's all stuff that I want to start investigating. How much can Godot do out of the box? And in what respect? Oh, apologies. That's my phone that I forgot to stop my alert on. There we go. So yeah, that is definitely something that I want to start looking into. How far can we get with Godot? Do we need to build stuff? And we might end up building some stuff in the next couple of weeks, so that we can actually use this steering wheel to the fullest. I also don't know how, whether we need to download any drivers or anything like that. I just literally just plugged it into the PC and that's it. I've got no clue yet. And the easiest way to start figuring that out is actually not to start with our little Figure demo, but is to use Godot's little joystick demo application. So I want to start over there. It recognizes the G-force, so let's see what it does. So there we go. Axis 0 is working. Now this is interesting because you can't see this unfortunately on a stream, but I've now turned the wheel about 45 degrees and it gets to value 1. And I can actually turn it a full circle more. So we're not actually getting the full input of the steering wheel. So that's something that we need to figure out what's going on with that. These knobs don't seem to be doing anything. These buttons don't do anything. That button does do something. So the L3, L2, they all work. So I'm pretty sure that it's basically working like a what you call it? Like a PlayStation controller. There's our gas pedal. That's our brake pedal. That's pretty nice. But that's one axis. We do not have a clutch, so we can't read our clutch now. That's actually going to be interesting. Do we have? No, we don't have a second device that gives us inputs. We don't have the shifter working. That's not doing anything. Doesn't do anything with vibration. No, doesn't do anything with vibration either. My shifter pedals work. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it just thinks that it's a. That's actually pretty cool. That doesn't make sense because that's L3, and that's R3. I guess that might make sense that those buttons are there. Let me look at these. Oh, that's wrongly mapped because that is the actual share and option buttons. That should actually be those top two. I should check that with a proper PlayStation controller and see if we have that same problem. The head works. That's good. Actually, it uses the interface. That's funny. So yeah, we got some of it working. But I'm a little disappointed that we can't get... I need a second camera so you guys can see what I'm actually interacting with here. But whenever I'm using the gear shift, nothing happens, so that's a shame. And nothing happens on the clutch. So I can't use the clutch mechanism, but we can fully drive, we can brake, we can shift gears with the pedals. So let's see how much of that works in our game. It's going to be really interesting. We probably have to remap a few things. All right. I'm just going to run that in desktop mode because obviously, you know, I just have got it in front of me like this. Let's zoom that in a little bit. I'm back on our normal track. So yeah, we can see that our steering wheel goes, but it only goes halfway. So I can go much further, but I don't get that input. That's a bit of a shame. Okay, so my throttle, so my gear shifts works, but my throttle is on different controls. So what did we have our throttle map do? Let's have a look, shall we? Is it in the player scripts? I can't remember. No. That's in the car, isn't it? That was one of the things that I wanted to change at some point. Yeah, Caterham. Car scene. Go here. Let's in that. Hi, Declan. How you going? We are playing around with a GeForce G29 steering wheel at the moment. Okay, so how are we doing the inputs here? So we got... So this is basically now LY. And this one is... Well, let me get my proper steering. This is also LY. But positive is gas and negative is braking. Um, 0.0, 1.0. So again, this would not work for our other setup, but I'm going to do it for this setup. -1, 0, 0. There we go. Let's see if that wants to work. Hi, what's Obi? Hi, Clement. How are you guys going? Alrighty. Let's see if I did that right. Obviously not. I got them the wrong way around. How did I get them the wrong way around? Hold on. I just want to have a look at our code pads again. I should have just ran that instead of edited that. Okay, so throttle is -1. Okay, go figure that. Braking is positive. I wasn't expecting that. Alright. There we go. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to make a nice setup for that. And, you know, safe profiles and that sort of stuff. Let's go back to our car. So, that's really interesting. One. And we're just going to make that negative. I am not going to worry too much about that. All right. Whoa, I cannot drive. All right, so this is one of the reasons why we obviously want to have a proper steering wheel. Actually, let's go reverse. The reverse doesn't work properly. It's something actually that would be cool to figure out tonight as well. We screwed up reverse. So basically, when you give this little speed input, we shouldn't be getting that much steer. So we definitely want to tone that down. But for that, we need to figure out, you know, why is our steering even restricted? Now, there's two possibilities for that. One is that Godot isn't able to get those numbers in, or the other option is Godot is clamping those numbers internally. And I actually want to figure that out. So luckily we've got a custom build of Godot here. Let's go and see if we can fix that all up. Leave that stuff all open, that's fine. Alright, I'm going to quit out of the Godot engine for a second. Alright. Godot 3. Let's just double check what we're on. Should be just on the normal. Oh, we're on the detached head, and that's because I was having problems. Okay, how do I make a branch from a detached head again? Because I want to safeguard that. Great. I know a lot of commands out of the top of my head, but not all of them. Oh, just create a branch. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Create branch is 3.2. There we go. And I actually don't care about going to that, so I'm just gonna check out 3.2. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, yeah, let's check out if we are indeed fine. That should be 6.1C. Yeah, perfect. So I've got that one because that is the last build that I had working with the old FBX importer. As everybody probably has heard, we have a brand new FBX importer in Godot, originally built for 4 and backported to 3.2. But it breaks something that I'm working on. So until that is fixed, I need to be able to use the older build. Now, no, not origin. Let's go for upstream. And it's also 3.2. So at least I'm up to date with whatever is today's build, 3.2. And now we're gonna create a new branch, and that's just gonna be test G29. And that gives us the freedom to hack away a bit. Now, I am gonna go and tell release debug? I guess debug. I am gonna tell it to build. Even though we're going to rebuild in a minute, but that means that in the background, while we're busy here, we actually have all the new stuff being compiled, and by the time I come back, it only has to do the last little bit. Okay, is my sound okay, by the way? Because I've moved a whole bunch of things around, so I hope that you guys can all hear me clearly, except for the motorbike that just went past. Okay, though. So, the joystick logic. That's always something that I need to remember where that's in. Is that in IO? No, it's not. Because it's in part, it's in the operating system, in the platforms. Let's actually start with platforms. And we go to Windows. And we go and look at joypad Windows. So that's getting all our stuff for the joypad. Set up the input joypad, set up joypad objects. I am looking at where it's processing. So it's probably here. That's just checking whether there's new joypads in. Okay. Process joypads. Here we go. So here we're getting all the joystick axes, and we're getting all of them for the gamepads. Okay. And we're just calling joy axes on inputs. So let's go and have a look what that does. There we go. We get a joypad. We're checking if the value is still the same. We are checking not quite sure why it does that. Okay, what's it doing there? Let's have a look. Axis correct. Why would it be dividing here by max joy axes? That's interesting. We lost the place where we were processing. Here you go, process joystick. That's buttons. And these are the floating inputs. Remember fixing that. um, why are you coming in as integers? That I don't get. Alright, let's have a look if we can find some info about that. Is that a... No, that's just a reference. I'm just going to have a look at this, because I'm guessing that that is just the library that's being used. Going to the next input state. Gamepad. Interesting. So those are indeed all integer values. Where is that coming from? JS. Oh, and that's using get device state. Okay. Joystick. Let's go on. I am sitting too close to my keyboard. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, that is really interesting. So we got a lot more options here than we're currently using. Oh yeah, that's because we also have the velocities and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Alright. So those are longs. So I'm guessing if we go and have a better look at this, is that I'm just mistaken about what this is called. Is that a is this a constant from in Godot, or is it a constant somewhere over here? Let's go have a search for that. Finding folder, max axes. Okay, min max for property range. Max. Oh, look at that. So that's our maximum value. 32768. Okay. E29 that's not really the sort of value I'm looking for. Try and find something like that. Because if that's the maximum value that we get back, then I would expect that the hi Blender Low Poly, how you going? If that is the maximum value, which makes sense if that is indeed a long. No, actually, it doesn't make sense if that is a long. What does it? Okay. Why don't we go and search for those two combinations? Always fun that you always get a lot of Japanese pages when you search for these sort of things. So that's using the Logitech library itself, which I might need to do. Nobody answered it though. Because this might just be a limitation of using. Yeah, that wasn't what I was looking for. Oh, here we go. So let's see if we. Yeah, we have the same problem here. That just our maximum input is. So I'm only turning the steering wheel 45. No, 90 degrees right now to the left. But you can actually turn this steering wheel much further. Same thing going to the left. We can only go so far. Let's see if we got the other inputs. That's fine. That's fine. But we don't have any inputs on the other axes. Okay. Now I don't want to recalibrate it in this case. Okay. So let's see if I actually. So I should have done this at the beginning. Do I need to download some drivers for this thing? Downloads. Okay. Start out. Yeah, sorry guys, I do need to set up a second camera for something like this because I don't know. Can we just abuse the webcam on this thing? Let's have a look while that downloads. All right, this is going to be ugly doing this midstream, but let's just see if we can make it work. Video capture device. Yeah, that's fine. Is it this one? Hello. All right, so obviously I want that to be a lot smaller. I hope that this doesn't overpower my my whole USB thing, but oops. So if I do that, at least you guys can see what I'm doing with the steering wheel, right? So at least doesn't hopefully helps a little bit just for now. Probably not going to keep that camera around for too long. So here's my boom is in the way. That's a shame. Because you can't really see that I'm using my shifter now. Now you can see my shifter. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so because I'm down on the 32-bit version for some reason. Show all downloads. Use operating system. Windows 10. There we go. 64-bit. That might work better. That was very silly of it. Luckily, it's not too big. A little harder to read chat now that I've using my webcam there. I'm not so happy that this one's so low as well. Yeah, that works better. Okay, 64-bit one then. There we go. Yeah, we're English speaking. Sure, I'll accept the terms and conditions. So is this gonna install all possible drivers for Logitech? Including okay, drivers are included in G-Hub, so I better install G-Hub as well. Okay. This is what you get for not reading the instructions. That is funny. So yeah, it's found my wheel. That's pretty good. All right. Where was that nice page? Oh, we needed to go to downloads. That's right. G-Hub. All right. Here we go. Cool. Thank you. No, I don't want to restart my computer. Crazy. There we go. It's found it. Yay. Perfect. Sweet. Yeah, that's fine for now. Indeed, I only have Assetto Corsa installed at this point in time. What are you complaining about? Yeah, that's all right. You can steal all my info. So that's all set up. Perfect. So this guy is set up. Commands can not be assigned to buttons 12 through 18. Really, why not? It's a bit interesting. Clutch, brake, accelerator. That's perfect as well. Actually, I want to go. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that at the defaults settings. Okay. Did I start downloading the hub? I did not yet download the hub. Okay, do we have like an ability to test? That would be kind of cool. Or is this just for mapping? I don't know. All right. So the big question now is, that's all recompiled. So let's just see how well that still works. I'm just going to go and run our joypad thing again. Okay, now it has not found our Logitech at all. That's interesting. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go and install this guy too, and then I'm just going to reboot my machine. See if that makes a difference. How am I procrastinating my own game development? Because this is a big part of what it is that I want to do. Now that an incompatible version of Logic gaming software exists on the system, upgrade or remove it. Oh, so the fact that we just installed this means that it won't install that. That's really good. So, add remove programs. So where is my GeForce thing? I have a search button. you're gonna be bye-bye. I just installed you. Also means I'm gonna go and close a few things now. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Let's take that off for now, and let's take that off for now. Okay, so can we now install this guy? It's a bit of a shame that it's not clear on this thing that you actually should be installing this instead of the other one. Yeah, but as I was saying, so I've got my steering wheel here, and I actually want to use that in Godot, obviously. So we need to find out, is it a question of installing the drivers and that allowing us to get access to it? And I'm kind of hoping that the gear shift is either going to be mapped to buttons that we can access, or that this becomes a separate controller. And well, we've got plenty of axes free for the gear shift, so that should be okay. Alright. I do love it when you download an installer that then downloads more stuff. And luckily, I've got fast enough internet that this isn't going to take hours and hours and hours. X360 CE, what's that? I've not heard of that. Oh, yeah. When you've got external controls like that. Okay, allow access, that's fine. So, welcome to Logic G Hub. Let's get started. Cool. Unlock your potential. Sure. Explore our community. Launch Geo. Add your profiles from Logic Gaming Software. We found the Logic on your computer. Okay, go for it. Sure. Go and spy on me. That's fine. If it helps you guys, why not? All right. So it says not connected. Let's just reconnect this thing. 6.7. There we go. Does this little spinny thing again? That is actually pretty cool. All right. Got it. So we've got our steering wheel up set up. Okay, what's the difference between... I don't really see anything change here. So here we go. Now this is the funny thing, is that it says that it has a reverse. I've never really figured out how to put it in reverse. Where's my pedals? There's a steering wheel, okay. So now, oh, look at that. Okay, but why? Oh, it's not centering. That's really cool. So we now at least know that our steering wheel is working. That's good. Okay. Cool. Now it's actually centering a bit better. A bit lighter. Alright, that's pretty cool. Pedals. Are they all working? Yep. 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 Alright, cool. Can't see what it's doing with the we're on the application. Okay, I get what we're doing now. We can't get to the to our gear shift. That's interesting. Even though we can see that we have it, but it doesn't allow us to test it. That's a bit of a shame. All right. Let's see if Godot now likes it better. No, Godot again doesn't find it at all now, which is really interesting. Okay. Why not? Alright guys, I am going to go and quickly restart this computer, so you guys are going to go see my boot setup. That's okay. Just in case that makes a difference. A wheel for the racing game. Are you going to get a hot test? Yes, at some point, well, I've got the, I don't know where it is, but I've got just a flight stick. But yeah, if I ever have too much money, then I am definitely going to get a hot test set up. Absolutely. And again, it's kind of what I want to do with this as well, right? Is figure out, okay, how can we make these things work in Godot and make them work well. I really hate that my left light is off. Yeah, need to fix that one. Yeah, you can indeed push it down and then go there, but it's like I suddenly have 4 extra reverse gears, so I'm not quite sure how they are meant to work. Okay, so did this make a difference? No, it did not. So why is, after I installed our Logitech hub, our beautiful steering wheel is no longer to be found? That sucks a little bit. Okay, where is our... It doesn't even work. It didn't even find my steering wheel anymore. There we go. Hello, don't do that. Okay. Let's go rerun that. See if that made a difference. It did not. So that's really strange. Oh, so we have a switch somewhere between PlayStation and normal. On the top here. Okay. What if I change that? What does that do? Probably have to restart that. Still detected. Double check if that's still working. Okay. That's still not finding it. Okay. Well. Okay, system. So those are just all shortcuts. No. Okay. Doesn't really seem to have any info there. Hey, this is Alex. How you going? Well, I don't think that it's two utilities doing the same thing because Godot is just acting like a game right now, and it did find that before. Once we installed the drivers, it no longer recognized it as a normal joystick. So it's also interesting that it doesn't show up anything over there. Um, Making my own game engine. I've done that in the past. One of the reasons I chose to do stuff with Godot is because it's open source and I can add the things that I want and I can use all the stuff that's in there that I don't want to build. So it saves me a whole bunch of work building a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not really interested in building. Hi, Jamie. How you going? Okay. So, let's see if this support side works any good. Uh, well, it found 1 out of 0 things. That was interesting. Okay, so is this button that I just pressed at the top, because you can't really read it very well. Let's put that back to the other mode. I'm quite sure if that is actually the button that I think it is. It is very funny though. See it working or not. But yeah, it's no longer found as a joystick here. So okay. Now, for some reason it doesn't like doing that. Yeah, but it's disabled. Although I guess that is because we're now using the game hub. So what's going on here? I still deprecated message. Okay. I wonder if you can really play squadrons with with this. That would be very funny. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out whether it's a setting that I'm missing or this gamepad is enabled in settings. But that's probably. Oh, it's found the firmware now. That's pretty cool. But we still haven't found our input. That sucks. Okay. G29. Learn to type as. Okay, that's a very empty page. um, okay, Logitech, that is a little disappointing. Okay, so use. Nah, that's all just in Steam. All right, I don't want to mess too long with that, guys, because that's just going to this is going to be a very boring scream if I keep searching for that and trying to figure out why that works or doesn't work. Obviously, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that it actually found it as a joystick early on, but we couldn't use all the controls, and then we started using it. Yeah, through the the hub, the G hub, and all of a sudden it doesn't recognize it at all. I get this thingy off, it's bothering me. It's like this little protective plastic. This looks like that's supposed to come off. There we go. That's better. That was bothering me. There we go. I'm actually gonna go and where are we? I think it's this one. Just gonna take that off again because there's no point in having that in the stream. All right, let's catch up on what everybody's saying. Hi, Rahul. How are we going? Yes, this is a proper G29 steering wheel that I'm trying to get to work with Godot. But right now, I'm not having much fun with it because... Hold on, I need some light on this because I can't really see anything. Boom. Oh, there's a switch between a PS3 mode and a PS4 mode. Obviously, I want to have it on PS4 mode. Alright, let's just go and reconnect it one more time. Actually, let's go and do... it's not long enough for that. So why is that no longer... So we're on the default profile. We've got that all set up normally. I wonder what the G-shift is all about. Will it work if I put it in G-shift mode? No, that doesn't make a difference either. Let's turn that off because... So that all fine works. Come on, there has to be a way to make sure that G29 is just recognized as a joystick. I don't want to give up that quickly. Go on, there has to be something. So here people are complaining that it's doing exactly that. Well, that is exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, but that's using joysticks controls through Steam. And that's not really what we're doing. Alright. Yeah, because I can't imagine that they don't have a mode that you can use it as a legacy device. Yeah, that's all fine. That's only showing... Oh, that's again not showing me my firmware again. Not a whole lot in here, is there? That's definitely not what I'm interested in. Oh. I can make a Logitech account. Don't know if there's anything that I can do with that. Hmm. Well, it's... We could try just for fun. I did download. I haven't actually tried it yet. Let's go and have a look if... yeah. Let's have a look if Assetto Corsa is able to recognize the wheel. Because in the worst case, I need to start looking into, okay, do we need to implement the G-tuning, the Logitech drivers in Godot itself? The big question is, can this work through the normal joystick API of Windows? Which in theory it should. I'm probably going to get demonetized now with the music. Let me turn the music off. Sorry, guys. Let's see if we can skip through that. English. Okay. Hey, menu. I just want to do a test run. Can I do a test run? Practice drive. Perfect. Load as release. That thing. Okay. Actually, first let's have a look at settings. That's fine. Effects. That's all display. No, we need to go controls. Here we go. Here we go. G29 with a shifter. Apply presets. Okay, can you save that? Okay, I guess. Let's see if that works. Drive. Practice. I'm happy with whatever thing we're on because I'm... Okay. Oh, just go and play. I need to do that. I already looked at that. Alright, again, I'm not sitting properly, so this is going to be really horrible. Okay, so just a practice run. Well, So it hasn't accepted my steering wheel settings. Options. Controls. Apply presets. Okay, so that's all set. Oh, getting all that. Oh, these are buttons. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so down 19 is reverse. Okay. So we're getting all that in. Yeah, so that's all working. But not in the car. That's weird. Or do I need to do something to start in this game? So I got the Logitech configure. We can see that it is all working. So everything is set. Why doesn't it use that? Yeah, ups and downs of PC gaming. So the really weird thing is that we can see that it's definitely getting input, but then in the game it's not doing anything with it. And obviously, that's just so weird. This just doesn't make any sense. Because if you look at this part here, you can see, steering wheel is working, throttle is working, brake is working, clutch is working, gear shift is working, even my pedals are working. But okay. So my guess is that my configuration presets just aren't working. Okay, what if I load my... I don't think these presets have been set up. Okay. There we go. We got that one. This one. Oh. There we go. I accidentally hit the brake. Clutch. We don't have a handbrake input, so that's good. Alright. So Okay, that's all working. Shifters. Click to assign. Okay. Is that button 13? Yeah, button 13. Okay. Second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. Fifth gear. Oh, that's wrong. Fifth gear. Sixth gear. We don't have a seventh, but we do have a reverse. Okay, cool. We don't have any of those. We have all those. So, save. Oh, need to make an. There we go. Boom. We have a preset. So let's see if that wants to work now. And if it does, yeah, we got a mouse and keyboard in there, but they should not be recognized as joysticks. I'm in neutral, dude. Why do you think I'm... Okay. That's hilarious. Everything is reversed. Everything is in reverse. So, invert, invert, invert. Throttle, brakes, clutch. Save. Back. Oh, actually, one of the things that I want to do is my force feedback wasn't set up. Well, force feedback. It's fine. Good. Yeah. Let's just leave those all at default. All right. Practice run. Start. Okay. So. Okay, my shifter is not working. Okay. Why is my shifter not working? I think I need to tick that tick box. Okay. We'll get there. Now, this of course has got nothing to do with Godot, but I just want to make sure that the steering wheel all works. Doesn't like my shifter. It doesn't like the shifter. We can of course always do that and that so that we have that as a backup. But I really want to use that. So, is there a problem with my clutch? Alright, we got fully depressed clutch. That should work. Well, at least our pedal shift should work. I'm off the road because I'm looking sideways. Alright. Alright, that's as much as I want to do with this. Because that proves that everything is working. Except for the shifts for some reason. Maybe I haven't... Nah, you can see that the buttons input is coming in. Thank you. Yeah, you can exit now. There we go. So, our steering wheel is working perfectly. But in Godot, it's not being recognized as a joystick. That's a shame. I need to figure that one out. No, the shift knob is just a standard gear selector, which just switches buttons, I think. And you could see that the buttons were actually working in the little map. It's just for some reason it wasn't getting input into the game. And that's probably just a setting in Assetto that I need to figure out. But a little bit bummed out that before we install that, you would think that there would be a backwards compatibility layer here, that you could use this with legacy games where it presents the steering wheel as a I should have probably used that as a well, that was the way that it was anyway, so just these shortcuts that are different. Well, that's Logitech's new mouse. Yeah, driving. No, I want to write software for your steering wheel, guys. Maybe later, not right now. And this was the page that we were on before, where it's nice that, yeah, we got the software developer kits, and then there's nothing there. Well, we're not going to figure that out tonight, unfortunately. It's a bit of a shame. Let me just quickly grab my trusty old gamepad, because I don't really want to waste much more time on this right now. As well. There we go. On. Yay! Okay. There we go. I just got my trusty Xbox controller, so that we can at least do something on our vehicle demo, because it is, well, almost halfway through our stream and we haven't really done anything other than get a little bit disappointed that the G29 does not work out of the box. Well, it did when we first plugged it in, and then when we installed software for it, it suddenly stopped working. But obviously we want to have the software installed because we want to use the full capabilities of the device. What I think that I'm going to need to look into is either use either figure out, okay, how does the Windows joystick API properly interact with the steering wheel, or is there an alternative API that it's supposed to be using? Because of course right now when we look at, do we still have that page open? Probably not. This one, close you. So come on, there's my mouse. I can't see my mouse. If we go back here, where was it? I want to go and get my state 2. Let's see if there's a different state for steering wheels. For force feedback stuff. Now, so I think I'm going to have to look at whether there's an SDK that I can somehow get access to, specifically for the G29 or for the Logitech steering wheels, and figure out if I can interact with it that way, or do some more research why the Logitech is not being picked up by the joystick enumeration here. And it could even be settings, right? Because okay, so here it enumerates over all the joysticks. Okay. Just for just want to quickly. Hey, why did we close that? I closed Windows too quickly. Okay. Let's just go have a quick look at this. So we get a dev type here, device type. Do we have a? Here we go. We got a first person, whatever that is. Alright, that's probably Kinect design? First person action game device. Don't know. I'll fall into this category. Here we go. Really? Let's try it out. I wanna see if that works. Hold on, guys. I wanna see if this works. Sorry, trusty gamepad. You're gonna go over there for just a second more. Let's connect my G29 again. Because I bet you, because we've now installed the right software, it's actually being recognized as that. Now, the big question is if we can still get the data in the same way as before. But let's try that out. So, let's see if we can accept a driving type. Okay. That means that we have to recompile Godot. Let's make sure I'm in the right place. Yes, I am. Scones platform. I am really bad at typing today. Target is release. Debug, manage it. There we go. Now this should be pretty quick now that I've already recompiled it before. After pulling. And if that's all we need to do, I'm going to push that in as a PR. If that really is all that we need to do to get a steering wheel to be recognized, then yes, we are going to obviously put that in. Come on. And there we are. Run. Oh. And it's coming back. Center. We still don't have the start and stop vibration stuff. Okay, those all my pedals work. Okay, this is really weird. So this goes all the way from +1 down to -1. So we have to keep that in mind in our handling of it. This as well, from +1 to -1. And our clutch is working. Okay, we're running out of buttons. Godot only goes to button 15. And we've already found out that it's 19 for reverse and 18 for gear 6. And so that's something that we'll need to change. That all works. That is all still working. Wrongly mapped, but still working. So that's all fine. Happy with this. So we can see that it's really recognizing it as a PlayStation controller. But we have a working steering wheel. Ooh. Yeah, we are French. That's oh, of course, I only renamed it, so that's fine. Dots, git, commits, added driving joystick type to Windows joystick. Boom. Git push origin and driving joystick. There we go. GitHub, Godot engine, Godot, compare. Come on. Ah. Do I just need to be patient, or is it just... I think I'm just not being patient now. Here we go. I was just not being patient enough. So that's, of course, not going to work, because that needs to go against the 3.2 branch. Sorry. Well, this on master as well. Anyway, serial. That steering recognized in Windows as. So Um, da-da-dum. Label. Announcement. Begin. I think I'll have some fun with that. Oh. All right. So officially, I'm supposed to be doing this on Master and plugging that into Master. But because I'm still working on 3.2, I could, I guess, start up Godot 4. I've got half a mind to move our little racing game into Godot 4, but I think it's a little bit too early for that. But seeing it's such a simple change. Did that all come through? It did. Boom. And there. Okay. Let's go back into here. And yeah, so we're definitely going to have to enhance. Where's our car? Oh, there's our car. We're going to have to enhance this logic quite a bit because obviously this is. I should not be clamping this, but instead I need to bring this into the. From the -1 to 1 range, I should be moving this into the 0 to 1 range. So we're going to do +1 divided by 2.0. Boom. And we want to have that in the negative because for some reason it's the wrong way around. I don't really get that, but it is what it is. That means that we do the same thing here. There we go. And that shoots. That was also where that throttle multiply was coming from, but yeah, we'll make something nice out of that eventually. All right, so now we can see that I actually need to turn my steering wheel quite the opposite way, but I can't accelerate anymore. So screw that one up. Okay. Were those still those two axes? Let's double check. Yeah, axis 1 and axis 2. All right. So joy throttle, just that's still. Oh, this is now 2. Okay, so we're breaking in the. So this is now actually RX. So that's changed from the default joystick handling. Doesn't work. Okay, why not? Oh, you already got there. So yeah, so RX is 2, LY is 1, LX is 0. So that should be exactly what we want. One problem that, of course, always keeps happening, which could very well be our problem here. No, that's 2, 1, 0, so that's good. All right. One other thing that I really want to do. So this went from 90 to 900, I think. So it's 450. So 25, I think. Let's see. And again, that needs to all be settable with the UI. That's really something that we need to start building so that we can have different profiles depending on whether we're working with steering wheel or we're working with something else. But I still don't know why my throttle isn't working. So what are we doing wrong here? So the get joy axis should be getting a value between -1 and 1. So +1 meets a value between 0 and 1, divided by 2. Okay. I'm done. There we go. Here as well. Because I've made it a value between 0 for least and 1 for maximum. And then I'm negating that, you know. So in this case, 0 would be completely pressed down. 1 would be completely released. So now that turn it into 0 to -1 is always negative. It'll never work. You can't have negative power on either one. So hopefully we've done the right thing now. Yes, we have. And now I really need to steer. Whoa! I'm being launched. Okay. Still. Oh. Okay, my gear shift is the wrong way around. That's interesting. And I still need to fix my reverse. Figure out why is my reverse not working. But my steering wheel, let's see how. Okay, I got that pretty accurate. Maybe. And slightly too much. Okay, if I go. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. And it's kind of logical because. Okay, let's do this the right way around. Let's do this a proper calculation. So our calculation is we go from -140, which is going to be 0.1 as a steering angle. Is that true? Do I do a... No, it's max steering angle. What's the max steering angle? Set as 0.35. Okay. So that is actually minus max steering angle to 450, and that is steering angle. It might just be the other way around. And actually, I'm going to make that 450 a setting. We're actually going to make that half. So is that true? 90, 60, 360. Yeah. It's 450 per side. So that's going to be so this is the maximum steering angle of our wheel, our wheel alignment. Max steer inputs. And we're going to make it 450 for our that's actually a better one. That's so I've got a steer value here. We never change that, do we? Okay, so what if we just use our steer value here? So this is going to become steer value times max steer input. So this is going to be 1 to -1. Oh, sorry, steer value. And that's going to be deck to rad. Boom. Let's see if our Quest can't keep up charging when turned on. Okay, so it uses more power than that it charges? Yeah, so you can't just keep on playing forever when it's plugged in? Guess that kind of makes sense. Alright, so, oh, that's definitely going to go the wrong way, but let's see how accurate it is. So far, so good. So far, so good. Yeah, so our steering wheel going the wrong way, but other than that, it is working. So that's definitely something that I want to improve upon eventually, because obviously we've got some interesting things going in a different direction, which is fine. So now our steering wheel is totally behaving properly. Now the other thing that I want to do, which is something that I'm not going to do tonight, is when we have a steering wheel like this, where we can properly rotate it, and we need to say, well, the maximum steering is this, and that's also the maximum steer of our wheels. So one of the things that I need to change here is what is input for the car. So our maximum steering that the car actually has as far as the turning of the wheels is concerned, and we might even up that a bit. And how much the maximum steering of our steering wheel is. Now, when you are using a cheaper steering wheel that can't, turn all the way around, or like this one, you can actually turn it full and then a little bit more, like a real car. Very cool. When you have that shorter range, or when you're using a joypad, we're probably want to create an input curve, because you don't want that. If that's all your steering that you can do, that was our basic input that we began with. You don't want that to be your full steering input linearly, because you just can't control the car that way. So we'll want to have an input curve where the first bit of steering doesn't actually move our wheels that much, but the further we steer, the more aggressive movement of our wheels will get. So that's something that we want to start working on as well. But we do have much more control over this. Now I think, besides going way too fast, I do think that our maximum steering input that we have right now, so this one, is probably too low. Now this is not in degrees, this is in radians already, and I actually want to do that as well. Is get some helper ones here and say on ready bar max steer angle rad is going to be back to rad max steer angle. Okay, so that means that we're going to have to rewrite this in what that is actually is in degrees. So let's get an approximation of that. 0.35 divided by 3.1415 times 180, so about 20 degrees. We're actually going to make that 30 degrees. I want that to be more. Max steer input in radians. And the reason I want to do it like this is because now we get settings that are human readable in our properties, but we actually have values that the computer finds easier to use over here. So now we should be able to go and fix this one up. There we go. And that's going to be input rad, and that means that we no longer need to do a degree to gradients there. There we go. That should still work. And then we're going to fix our reverse. Hi, Ninchilla. How are you going? Let's make that a bit bigger. Hello. Bigger. So now you can see that our wheels actually steer a lot more. That's exactly what we want. Makes the car quite a bit more easy to control. Even though I can tell you that looking sideways is really, really hard to control the car. Whoa, and there we go. Boom. That's all good. Okay. Cool. Let's fix our reverse. So this is definitely something that I'm not happy about how I solved that in this logic, and I need to definitely see if I can make that better. Okay, so that's all. That's just our keyboard overall. So we're definitely going to change that whole input mechanism at some point. If we don't have any input, then we have that. Okay. Gonna figure out what a power is, and then we say our throttle valve max power. That gets our throttle. Brake value gets that. And now we have, if we have a throttle value that's negative, then we add our amount of braking to actually, I think that doesn't work. I think the brake force actually doesn't. I'm wondering if I just make this as simple as, go and comment this stuff out. Yeah, I know. Comment the whole thing out. What if I just make the engine negative? I just leave it as is. See if that'll work. I think I might have been overthinking it when I was writing that. So we can still go forward. We can still brake. Okay. Still need to change the reverse. And now we can go in reverse. See, I was just overthinking that. Haha. All right. Perfect. So we fixed that up. All right. Cool. So we now have our steering wheel working. We have our reverse working properly now. I think we can clean that up. That we pretty much know is not needed. Got our brake lights coming up when we hit. We can't see that in in this mode, but that's all right. We have reverse lights. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's actually interesting that lerp that I have in there. Well, it's not really a lerp. It's a change of angle by to limit how fast we can change so that we don't have immediate input on a joypad. That's kind of unnecessary when we're using a steering wheel. So I think that is something that I'm going to move into the input logic and not do over here. And actually, I'm pretty much content to just remove that altogether and just say, well, that's my steering angle. I don't know if it makes sense to oh, we keep keeping that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it makes. Not sure if it makes sense to actually have that in the variable. I think that we could probably. And it's the same for our engine force and our brake value. We probably don't actually need to keep those in there. But that's okay. I don't want to spend the time tonight, but I think maybe next week I'm going to start working on actual input mapping of our controllers, so that we're moving that out of here, moving that more centralized, where we're saying, well, here's our configuration for how we interact with our controllers, and then this picks up the end result of that. That actually sounds like something we really want to do. Aiken, yeah, I was afraid of that. All right. You know what? Let's just do that. I've got... Okay. There we go. We've got 4 here. Okay, so... Pretty cool. Yep, I was trying to make OpenVR working there. Alrighty. Only 24 commits, really. Right. That was a lot in those 24 commits, obviously. Actually, I'll leave that alone. Because I don't think I've actually done that. Okay. Yeah, that was all that we needed to do. Come on. Let's cancel that. Okay. You know what? I'm actually going to change. Okay. Let's first compile this thing to make sure that it still works. And this is going to be fun because we need to do this in 2 steps. First step is going to be completely going overboard. I should be able to do that, right? Yes, I can change what it's on. Aha, that's fine. It's a shame that this takes a while on my computer for some reason. While it runs, copy of that. Because I don't think any of the demo projects have been converted to Godot 4, so it's going to be interesting if if this will work. There we go. Okie doke. Bum-bi-dum-bi-dum. I hate when we have to wait so long for these things. But anyway, well, while that runs, actually we can keep this guy open. That's not a problem. So, I really need to rename that project from vehicle demo to something more exciting. So what were we doing? We were working on our car scripts. So yeah, so I think that next stream, because I don't really want to start on that now because we've got about an hour left and I think I need much more time than that. But I think next stream I want to devote to moving all the input handling into something separate. And then just have this as a consumer of that data. Because the settings that we have here really need to reflect the settings for the car, not for the input. You know, we don't want for every car that we create in our game to have to set what the input values are, because those are going to be defined depending on whether you use a gamepad, whether you use a keyboard, whether you use anything else. So we're going to move that into a separate unit where the user can basically choose, okay, you know, what sort of input do I want to use. We're going to probably put that on our main screen here, where we're going to be able to set that up. Add a settings section to this or something like that. Or move it into the main game. I'm not quite sure yet, because especially once you're in VR, you really want to have your controllers set up before you start. So that's something that I think we'll handle next time, so that we can also clean a whole bunch of this up, and then really have all the inputs come in from, you know, an input controller, and this just consuming the input controller. And that really means that our car script becomes a script that we can use for all the different cars, and the only thing that you do at that point is set up the specific things that are related to that car. So yeah. So I'm happy with our RPM. So all that stuff we did last stream. I'm now happy that we can reverse. This is definitely stuff that I want to do differently as well. I don't really want to have that in here. I really want to have that, you know, we probably are going to do things like that. One of the things I'm thinking about is adding a drag strip into as one of the scenes that we can load in, and have that actually measure our speed from start to finish, so that we can test out, you know, how our car is set up. The other thing that I want to do at some point is create a skid pad, so just basically a big parking lot or something like that, where we can just, you know, basically do fun things with the cars, just to see if they're set up properly. And those are really, you know, for us to sort of fine tune how the cars drive. So yeah, there's a couple of things that we can start working on. But I first want to have this one all done and dusted. So that should now be recompiled. Hopefully I did the right one. I'm using the ICU Half-Buzz Graphite text server. Cool. Don't know what that means, but it sounds really, really cool. Okay. Developments. So here we have our 4.0. I think it's a MISC joypads. Import. We get a nice white screen. What does that mean? Does that mean that it's stuck? That means that it was still... Ooh, the file joypads scene appears invalid and corrupt. That is a shame. Why is that so? Why can't you be converted? Okay, so it can load it a second time. Alright, so. I wonder what it didn't like. So we have axes here. This is, of course, always the danger of going into something like this. Interesting that it doesn't recognize onReady now. Maybe that's what it's falling over. It doesn't know what onReady is. What does onReady become in Godot for onReady? How do you find this out? Why is Akin not in my stream? Is Ed onReady? Has it changed like that? That's possible. Oh. Now, it's always been onReady. I think they changed that. But where do we find the list of changes in GGScript? Well, you know what? This might not work because they might be called too early. Let's see if it's happy with that. Too many things have changed. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's right. So let's just go and find connect. Because I remember this change being discussed, because that's really cool. There's now an object callable. That's still the old help. Fix me, the syntax changed. We're going to just callable. This should be updated. Yeah, indeed, because we now have callable. So we got a callable object, which is a new object. Callable self print. Okay, we'll do that now. That's fine. There we go. Yeah, that was the other one, indeed, the joystick. Okay. Because we unified all the joystick axes. Left X, left Y, right X, right I. So this is right Y. Axes right. Okay. Okay. think those have just disappeared, so I think we can just make that 0, which is the first button, and that's joy button max. What I do want to know here is, what is joy button max? 36, look at that, we've gone to 36 buttons. So there's our problem that 16 buttons is not enough. Well, it's fine in Godot 4. So Godot 4 is going to have a lot more. Now I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't move. I think it's too early for that. It's a bit of a shame. Okay, so this all, we got rid of the errors, but I think that it actually won't run because it's not going to be happy about that. Yeah, allow access, that's fine. All right. On a previously freed. Yeah. I was afraid of that. So the problem that we have right now, if my mouse will work, my mouse is working, is because these are now no longer on ready vars. They're actually initialized before we're ready. Now, I'm sure there's a new syntax for this, but I'm not going to try and figure that out tonight, because I don't think there's anybody in our chat who is... we don't need the third argument for connect. That's only interesting if we have additional parameters there. So we have a binds array, which are things that it can send through, and there's a bunch of flags that define whether the method is called right away or whether it's queued or delayed or whatever. So those are optional ones. That's why we don't specify them, because we don't really care. We just have a callback. And the callable is a new container, because if I remember correctly, we are now supporting lambdas, so that you can actually put code straight into there and call that in, instead of having to define a separate function. Yeah, SSL likes that. It didn't actually like that one, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Non-existent for add color override in that's probably just been renamed. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna open up the Joypad app in here. I think it's a material. No, it's not a material. What are we looking for? Get node, add color override. What is add color override? Let's have a look. On control. Okay. I'll try that in a minute, Alex, but I thought that I just did it and it wouldn't work for some reason. Okay, add theme color override. That's changed to okay. Add theme. Okay, let's first try this again. So you're saying that it's unready for axes. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I don't know why I thought that wasn't working before. Okay, so yeah, that is definitely working. The button grid is null. We haven't actually gotten button grid. Buttons, button grid. Buttons, button grid. No, I like that that's a bigger thing. Alright. Oh, these are all null. Is this shorthand no longer working? It shouldn't, because it was auto-completing. Ah. I don't get it. This is pretty wicked. Okay. Let's have a look if this gives us a clue. Oh. Okay, I think there's a bug in our Hoover thing. Okay. That's a little silly. Okay, so axes is set. Joy name is all set. But you can see that Joe num is currently not set. That's fine because we haven't gotten one. But our button grid is definitely set. So our problem isn't actually that that we couldn't get it. It's that the over is broken. Okay, I can live with that. I can understand that they haven't worked on that yet. But now the big question is, why does this then not work? So let's go and do this. And see what happens. Alright. Ah! But let's call it test then. That was dumb. Alright. Oh, and of course I'm on the wrong one. And when we look at this, we still have an object on button grid, so that's fine. What's button right now? Button is 16, okay. Oh, hang on. Okay. Okay. We went to 36 buttons from 16. We have now got 16 buttons. So we have our 10 axes here. So, I don't know. Do we still go to 10 axes? Let's see what we do here. So let's find out what that is. So that's still 10. Okay, I'm happy with that. So it is the number of buttons that we. So we go all the way to 15 here. So check it in. Copy. Why can't I copy paste that? Okay. There we go. All right. Will do. Okay, let's start with this. So that becomes 16. Oh, haha. Don't do that. 16, 22. Dang it. Come on. Good enough for me. Okay. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There we go. Another row. Okay. Something's wrong here. What just happened? I must have accidentally... Not sure what I did there. Somehow I managed to move it back. I must have accidentally hit the wrong button. Really? What's wrong with you? Because this thing in the way? 16. Do it again. Okay. Gonna do this. I'm happy that we're going all the way to 22 buttons now. You probably need a lot more. Hey, Big Dev. Sorry, my screen's a little bit far away, so I couldn't really see who came in. All right. So our I'm just gonna call it unscript button. I find it interesting that it didn't error out on the other one. And we're just going to say, if we have the button, then we're doing that. And obviously, we're doing the same thing here. If we have our button, call this. So what's our joypad buttons then? We've got a button grid. That's the joypad buttons. Okay. Oh, that's in here. Oh yeah, because we don't have any of those. Okay, so we definitely need that same code in here. So we do the same thing here. We say if we have a button, in this case we show here. If we have a button, we hide. Ha! There we go. And we can see that our positioning of our thing is still not good, but we do have now steering wheels working. But we also have our shifter working. Look at that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we got enough buttons to make our shifter work. Pretty cool. Now, why? Whoops. Why these have now moved out of the way again, I don't get. So let's see. Okay. Have we got some sort of... See, that's again moves into the wrong position. Now, one of the things that I suddenly noticed that these are awfully big. Oh, it really doesn't like this, does it? Why are these so big? Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. Why is this so big? No. I won't accept that. That's annoying. Oh, okay, that's an automatically calculated one. So we got a label and we got a value. So this one actually needs to be smaller. How do we make that one smaller? Why won't you be smaller? Size. Maybe that's why. So no, won't allow me to change the size. Well, I'm not going to worry too much about that. We've proven that it worked. That's really all that is important here. I'm actually going to go and quit out of this as well. Not anymore. Cleans up our interface a little bit. That means that over here, how do I keep closing things? All right, where's my pull request? Here we go. Okay, so diff. Let's double check. That's our only change. Very good. Git commits minus m. Go over here and see what do we have as a commit message for this. Here we go. Helps if first we git add. Okay, how is this? That's better. Push origin minus F. So we're going to do a force commit on this thing. Which is going to completely destroy it. I'm going to be, oops, completely saying like, hey, I can't do anything with this anymore. Look at that. So now we're going to go here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go here. Change base. There we go. And oh. All right. Well, thanks for relating that to SSLX because we just fixed it. Okay, so some checks were not. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's happy with that now. Happy with that. I might actually have to change. Oh, lots more people into the review now. Let's see. We might be able to just force that to redo something. Because I have a feeling that our builds are still being run with the wrong thing in place. I'm gonna go and be really mean. It's fine. Also fine. Well, that should trigger a rebuild, I hope. All right. Let's go and put a cherry pick there. Boom. There we go. It also means that I want to go and edit this. To the left, to the left. Okay. If cherry 3.2 are button limits not enough for our G29 shifter buttons. But 36 buttons. There we go. Solved. Yeah, the grid does a whole bunch of aligning based on the contents and the sizing of it, but you're supposed to be able to size the internal elements. I might be doing something wrong. I don't know. I don't really want to waste time on it because I just wanted to test whether the steering wheel was properly working on master, and we proved that, which proves that this PR is good. Pretty straightforward PR. So, and that basically gives us proper handling of steering wheels. Yay! So, let's go back to this guy. See if it still works. I can't drive. Oh yeah, we still need to swap the gears around, which was really surprising. And again, you know, this is really something that should be different between controllers, not hard-coded in our car, but for now, that's just what we have. Actually, this one is in our project settings, input map. So we're eventually going to add up doing our own input map. And this is really weird that we actually have gear shift up is R5. So if we go to our G-force thing, no, not that one. Logitech hub, G hub. So here we have our mappings, and when we look at our gear up, R2 or 3, so that should be our see, how's that set for a sort of yeah, same. Oh, what? Oh, that just seemed to be wrong. Okay. So that's R1, button 5. I really should have had this one running in the background somewhere. 4, 5. Three. All right, Logitech, you're drunk. So yeah, these are mapped exactly the opposite. This is coming back as L1 and this, or L2, and that one's coming back as R2. As long as I think everything. I think that's the whole problem. Hold on, I'm just putting this a little bit down because I'm getting a bit of over saturation on my sound. So I hope I'm still you can still hear me because I put my volume a bit down. It's sort of going into red all the time. So what I think what's happening is that if you have a steering wheel with proper drivers, it actually registers itself as a steering wheel in Windows, and that probably has advantages in the way that it's handled. I think it's mostly because when it's recognized as a steering wheel, you can you can react to that in your game. You can say, well, if it's a steering wheel, I'm going to allow much more direct input than if it's a gamepad. So knowing the type of joystick or input device you have does help in making decisions in your game logic. But other than that, it's still mapping to the same button fields and everything like that. So I don't know what issue 31200 is. Let's have a quick look. Yeah. Yeah, so let's just put that in. And that can just be cherry picked. So there should actually be no problem in cherry picking that commit string on a 3.2 because of this, the code is the same between the two versions. There's nothing that changed in that bit of code. So Git should have no problems cherry picking those. So I'm pretty sure that as soon as you install the drivers that properly recognize the steering wheel, it'll work. So that's an old one, is it? So far, so good on all the checks. Alrighty. So yeah, I don't know why those are reversed. That does not make any sense to me. Left is right, right is left. So well, those are obviously on the bottom, which is really. But you can see that the left buttons are going, and I'm pressing the right ones on my controller, which you guys can't see at the moment, but it'll probably work for Godot 3.1 as well. But if you're on 3.1 going to 3.2 shouldn't be much of a big deal, I hope. It shouldn't break as many things as going to 4. So yeah. Hello. Sorry about that. So, yeah, really boils down to this needs to have some proper input mapping. For now, what we're going to be doing is flipping it around so that it works for my. Oh, that wasn't the input map, wasn't it? Oops. Input map. So this is actually going to become button 4. And this one's going to become button 5. And that works for our G29, but it's not correct for other things. Yeah, well, you know, this is Alex. You just have to wait until crazy people like me suddenly start playing around with it. That's the downside of this sort of stuff is, you know, you have to have the hardware for it. You know, if you don't have a steering wheel, you're not going to find out what's going wrong here. So, all right. So yeah, our gear selector now goes the right way. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, live debugging of Godot. Which you're going to be seeing me do quite a lot more of soon. Whoa. So much easier to control this car in a higher gear because it doesn't accelerate like crazy. One of the things that I really want to add in is sound, but I haven't figured out a nice way to do that in Godot yet. I know the not so nice way, which is just playing a sound loop and pitching it, which, you know, works in a lot of old-fashioned games. Whoa, I'm not quite sure what I hit there. That was a weird bump in the ground. Right. However, you know, that is working pretty neatly. Oh, my... Oh, this one's not so tight enough. My steering wheel started moving around on my desk. Alright. What to do next, because we're running out of time. Yeah, it is bumpy, and that's in part because of the suspension, but it's also one of the things that I'm not too happy about, and that I haven't really decided what I want to do yet. Is when we look at our track. So we made this all with CSG polygon nodes, and so that logic was all put inside of a path. So we have our road service here, and that just brings our whole path up. Now, I'm not quite sure where the start of our path is, but that's definitely one possibility that it's having some troubles there. But the thing is, this is just a collision shape, right? Where is my collision shape setting? Use. Oh, this was not like a. Oh, I made a separate one as a collision shape. Okay. Not quite sure. Okay, that's fine. I'm wondering actually for the collision shape if I should put the interval a bit higher. Because I don't think we need that resolution there. But the problem that I have is that you can't actually control any properties of that collision. It's just going to be a static collision. So, Declan, why is the mapping of the controllers a problem? That's interesting. One thing that I remember from the Oculus SDK, which was really funky, is the way that the buttons are actually given back to things. Anyway, so one thing that I'm really thinking about is playing around with this path interval. So that's all fine with that. So if I go and just as an idea, so here we see that now there's less detail in there, which makes the road a little bit more a little more blocky, which is fine. Which I don't want for the path itself, but which I do want for our collision shape. So when we look at our collision shape right now, instead of that having a whole bunch of close things, it actually gets spread out a little bit. Now this is the crazy collision bumpers that we have. Why we keep flying into the air when we hit the sides. I might even make this 5. So I'm just trying to get the individual cells a little bit bigger. And what I'm hoping is that this will have a positive effect on, obviously I need to hide that again, on the collisions of this. Because they don't need that high resolution. You don't see them. And, you know, if your wheels go slightly into the road, that again, you won't see that either because we're sitting inside of the car. So let's see if that makes it a little bit less likely to misbehave a bit. Now, one problem that is with this track is that I just build it like just out of, you know, real quick and dirty and simple. It's actually a really short track. Now, the other thing, of course, is that the suspension is way too bouncy. So that was one thing that I need to look at, is make sure that the road surface itself is less bouncy, but also the car setup needs to be changed. But we need two things really. One is we need a better track, maybe even a bit of a more forgiving track. And the other one is that we need to be able to, that was a big crash, we need to be able to change the settings for our physics body, for our vehicle body in game. So that is one of the things, you know, like I said, I was thinking about creating a bit of a skid pan or something like that for that. But the other thing is just creating a better track. Now, it's tempted to do it the same way that I did here. And just go and, you know, put a track in that that is a bit more realistic. Or, you know, do that in Blender or something like that. But the smooth faces doesn't have anything to do with the collision shape. The smooth faces has got to do with your shading settings. So right now this road surface is flat because I haven't turned smooth on. If I do smooth, the normals of this will nicely be interpolated so that it actually looks like this is a rounded surface, which of course for a road we don't want to do. Yeah, I remember playing with those and exposing those at some point for the touch controllers as well, and never really got that to work very well. So I'm not sure if that was actually ever perfected for the Quest drivers, if Fredia or Holger have spent more time on that, or if they just copied the code that I originally wrote. You know, it's basically just mapping some of the inputs that Oculus gave to, you know, some free buttons, and there you go. So yeah, I wasn't really convinced that worked that well. Think a bit quickly, see if we could build a bigger track or a nicer track. Could do one based on a real track. That might be interesting. Yeah, I guess we could round off with that. See how far we can get in about half an hour to an hour. So one of the things that I was playing around with the other day, not sure how loud this is, but yeah, now everybody knows where I live. Sydney, Australia! But I actually want to go to a completely different part of the world. I want to go to my old stomping ground. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Circuit Zandvoort, which is where I used to drive on the track. So one thing that we can do is we can take a snapshot of this. Just a rectangle, that's fine. And I'm not obviously going to use this directly, we're going to be using this indirectly. Alright. I actually want to try it again. I want to have something a little bit more closer to the actual dimensions. Oh. New. Don't want it to be that big. So that's actually the track, because that's all the we can keep the outside in. Actually, that means that I do want to get a little bit more of this. There you go. Okay. Sweet. Alright, let's go and save that. Okay, let's create a new folder here. Go to. We're actually going to call that capture PNG. That's fine. Okay. Let's measure the size. Oops. From there to about there. That's a good one. So this is a really cool thing that you can do here. Is you can say measure distance from here to, let's say, here. That's close enough. So that's 950 meters. Cool. All right. So then we go back into Godot. So that's just a script, so that's fine. So we're gonna go and say new scene. It's gonna be a 3D scene. And again, I really need to start getting better conventions going here. So we're going to go and do this. And now I want to have a look in here. Copy. Paste. All right. There we go. And there's a couple of things that we need to set up that needs to be the same between these. One is, of course, a car. There you go. There's a car. Then we need to add a remote transform, which we're going to go. It needs to be on the car, and it's going to be called driver. Again, I really want to redo that at some point, but not today. Brands Hatch. What's Brands Hatch? All right. Now, someone showed me the other day how I can actually copy this in one file sweep, and I completely forgot how that works. But it shows how important it is that this is actually not here, but part of a car scene. But for now, until I improve that, we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. So there we go. We have our car. We have a box around our car. I don't know why. I actually don't know why there's a box around our car. Do we have that in the car scene as well? No. I have no idea why we have a box around our car. Do we have a box around our car here too? We have a box around the car here too. I have no idea what that box is. All right. Cool. Yeah, I haven't been on any tracks in the UK. I did make it over the UK a few times, but not to do track racing. All right. We need a Directional Lights. put that up a bit. There we go. I think it's some sort of bounding box thing. Have I turned something on here? Don't know. Okay. No. Right. Sun. There is our sun. There's our sun. Okay. Approximation of what it needs to do. Close enough for government work. Okay. Enable shadows because I do want shadows. There we go. Sweet. Alright, now we have to have a track to drive on. So for that, I'm going to start with putting in a temporary mesh instance. And we're going to make that a plane mesh. There we go. And our plane mesh, we need to size up in a minute. But we're going to do that because I haven't actually checked what the resolution of this is. We now know that from the top to the bottom, we need about 950. So that's going to be this one. But left to right, let's put 1000 in, but that's probably wrong. We probably need to calculate that. So we're going to create a new spatial material here. There we go. That one can become unshaded. We really don't care about that. But what I do care about is that we use our capture. There we go. Now, that one is 1050 by 927. That's pretty cool. That's pretty close. So, put it 1050. Divided by 925 times 950. Close enough. 1080. That's what we're gonna keep it at. Oh no, wait. So, all right. So if we now take our top view, why can't I zoom out any further than that? That really sucks. Since when is that a limitation? Since when can I not zoom out any further than this? Who constrained the zoom? Why the hell would you constrain the zoom? Who thought that was a good idea? That must have been a recent change. That is ridiculous. I want to be able to zoom out all the way. Why can't I zoom out all the way? Is that because I haven't got this one far enough? Is that going to make a difference? Yeah, it does. Okay, that's interesting. So the zoom is constrained based on what our far distance is. Okay, that's funky. I didn't know that. That actually makes kind of sense, I guess. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Keep it top view, dude. What am I doing wrong? Why am I? Because I need to hold the shift. Okay, cool. So here we have our track, our Zandvoort track, with all the things around it. But we don't really want to drive, obviously, on this. We actually want to go and create a path on that. So we're going to start with a path node. There we go. And it has a curve 3. So let's set out our path first. And then we're going to go and... How did I get the map data? I just went to Google Maps and I took a screenshot. That simple. And then I measured how big it was and then I approximated something. So this will not be exact. Doesn't have to be. I'm not even sure if this is completely proper what I'm doing here. But, you know, it's a nice way to just get something. So that's a pit lane and stuff like that. I'm not going to worry too much about the pit lanes. I did not know that there was a little thingy there. But we're just going to go and start over here. All right, so I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to assume that I'm going to get that right once we start with the Bezier curves. I go over here. I'm going to go over here, 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 here. Again, need to hold my shift button. Definitely want to make sure that we're doing this here, here. These are all really high-speed corners. It's so much fun to drive this track. So I'm not going to do those little in-between thingies. We might do something for that later, but not now. Here, here. That's going to go here, here, here. You know, we'll probably fine-tune some of these points eventually. Here, here. Definitely here because that's a sharp corner. Boom. You won't believe how often I spun out there. That's a nasty little corner there. I'm gonna make this half, half. And now we need an ending point very close to our begin points, but not exactly on our begin point. So, and we'll line those up eventually. For now, I just wanted to have our line here. So let's go and start with at least some basic curve info in here. Okay. There we go. And we're just doing an approximation of this track. What? Oh, that's because I still have got add in there. Let's go and get rid of that. There we go. I'm opening that one again. So it was still in add mode. That wasn't very smart. I might wanna. I'm not quite sure why that stays that way, but that's okay. I'm gonna make sure that's over there. Good enough. We don't have to make it exact. It's just so that we have something that we can play around with. I think I actually want this one to be somewhat closer. I'm going to get in trouble with that. All right, so there we go. That one. I think I'm going to have to add a point in here. Oh. There we go. I have a bit more control over this bend right here. Okay, cool. Both. So we're going to be generating our actually, I don't think I need this one. We're going to be generating our CSG from here. And then eventually, once we start building some AI, yeah, we can use the same path for our AI to figure out where they want to go. That one's a really weird one. I don't even know how accurate this is when it comes to our good friend Google Maps, of course. But I'm more interested in that we have an approximation of this track anyway. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be something a little bit more fun to drive on. And the nice thing about using curves is that you get a bit of a flowing road. Now, we don't have any elevation in here, and that's something that I probably want to add at some point. Although right now I'm not too worried about the elevation of the track, because this is Holland, and Holland is very flat. It's just the way that Holland is. Okay, so I think we're going to have to add a point here as well, because... Oh, and I did that again. Because I think that's the only way that we can kind of get that to flow. Okay. That. Oops. There we go. I think that's pretty decent what we're going to do. Alrighty. I think this one is going to be slightly less of a problem. It's a very sharp corner though. I think here we're again going to need another point. Bring that properly up. There we go. Okay. Almost there. I think it's best if we do it like this. Maybe add one more in here. Get a bit more flow there. There we go. I think that'll do. And then we need to line this one up slightly more, not that much, because that'll be fixed with the path itself. Okay, so there we go. That's a CSG path. Polygon. we're going to start off with the default polygon. Mode is going to be path. Our path is going to be that guy. That guy. We're going to say path follow. In this case, I actually want that to be a bit higher. So we can already see that we're creating a nice path. Very good. This time I do want to go like this so that we can actually see what we're doing. For some reason, this always needs to be invert faces because it gets it wrong for some reason. We need to make a joint so that we get those two together. All right, so that's our start. We have a nice little track going around. Sweet. All right, next up, we're gonna actually switch to satellite mode. There we go. And the reason I want to go to satellite mode is that you see that actually our path is much thinner than our track. Now our track will change size in certain places, and I don't really care about that. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go and just take a section over here. I'm going to say right click, clear, right click, measure. Our track is about 9 meters wide, so 4.5 each way. So we're going to go to our CSV polygon, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go say minus 4.5 here, and we're going to go say minus 4.5 here, and now 4.5 and 4.5. There we go. I don't want it to be this thick, and actually I want this to be slightly countersunk. I want it just slightly above there. Okay. There we go. We got a road surface. So now this is just our Z buffering because I've made it so thin and slightly above the ground that it has some problems with that. That's fine. Now we could eventually create some more for our for our pitch lane and stuff like that, but I'm not too worried about that right now. On a car, let's move our car to the starting line somewhere. Car. Now, obviously, we don't have a collision shape yet. For now, I'm just going to turn collision shape on this thing, and we're going to add a static body with a collision shape, and we're going to use our old plane shape for now, just to get a ground plane so that we don't fall through the ground. And the last thing that I want to do, and this is going to be a little bit more tricky because I'm not quite sure if I have it. Great texture here. Was it this one? Yeah, it was. I remembered to save that. So I need a better road for this, but we'll just use the road texture that we already had. So let's see if we can actually run around this track. And obviously this is just to get the the path of this track. This is nothing else is in here yet. Might help if we actually make sure that it gets loaded. So that's over here. So, and again, this is where it's going to become important that we actually start giving things proper naming conventions. Track doesn't look as wide as I would think it would be. It doesn't look wide enough. I don't know why. Luckily I've got a ground plane in there, so we can't actually run off the road. Way too slow. But we've got the beginnings of a new track, and one based on a track that actually exists. Quite a bit faster around this. A very flat track, so obviously we need to start working on, putting some height in it. But I don't know what the elevations are of this track, so might need to go and view some YouTube videos of people driving on the track to get a bit of an idea of that. But again, it's just having something to drive on. Now, again, I don't think the track is actually wide enough, so I think I made a mistake somewhere. Although, it is of course possible that we take that as a measurement. Let's see if we... three measurements. Measure distance from here to here. So that's also around... No, that's 12.5 meters. So maybe I just looked at the wrong thing. Or maybe the road is not so wide in this place, or in this position. So yeah, so that's that. So in some sections it's wider. Now when we look at the picked lane, the main starting lane. Let's see, what's a good point to... Because here we can also see that there is actually no... Well, I guess that's because the pits are coming in here. How wide is this? It's around 10. Okay. You know what? I'm going to make this 5.5. Claiming artistic license here. There we go. And I think actually this bottom... We might actually... Oh, on the bottom we might actually make it 6. 6 just to get a bit of a flare on the bottom side. You don't really see it unless you look underneath, but okay. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. We have really quickly, put in a track just based on existing one. Obviously, I really want to use a different where's did I close maps? Really? What is it with me and closing things when we're not ready with them yet? You can't really judge elevation from anything of this, but we can see that we need some better textures for that, and of course we need to start working on the little bumpy things. So this would probably be a really nice track to do some more things with than what we've done before with the other track, just to get something a little bit more exciting to drive on. But, one of the things that I'm really wondering about as a question is whether, obviously, we want to have that one hidden. We don't want that in there eventually in the end. But what we really want to see is, or what we really have as a problem here is that this track is even. It's the same with the whole track around. Ah, that's cool, Bailey. Yeah, go for it, man. Just feel free to post the link to your to where you're about to stream or when you're about to stream. That's all fine. So yeah, so the fact that the track is all uniform, because that's just a limitation of the CSG path. That's an issue, and the other issue that I have is that, you know, for instance, I remember this turn being pretty banked. Because, you know, your starting line is here. This is the very first turn that everybody has to break into. Excuse me. So yeah, that's really one of those things where you want to have more control over the shape of the track, while Godot doesn't allow us to do a whole bunch there. However, that said, we can get pretty far with it. And it's worth seeing how far we can take it and how much we can do with it. You know, one thing that would be really interesting is to see if we can generate the ground plane in a way that it starts randomly sort of elevating the space around it, and just make sure that space underneath the track is flat. So that sort of thing could be really interesting to do some experimentation with. So yeah, obviously I want to find better textures for this. I want to start dressing this up so that we actually have a real track to drive around with, something that is properly sized. And then we can really start doing some experimentation with it. We can actually use this long straight to do some acceleration testing with. Okay, let me have a look at the path. So this is, I think, where yeah, exactly, where these two. There we go. That's better. I have that little zigzag in there. So yeah. Here we can really see the repetition of the texture. It's a bit ugly, but I'm not sure why that is so pronounced on that view. It's really interesting. But yeah. Alright, US Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. What is that in Sydney time? I want to know. 12 p.m. That's EST, isn't it? Why does it... So that would be 4 a.m. for me. I'm going to be asleep, right? But I hope you have a good stream, Bailey. I hope things will go good. So be sure to post your link. Oh no, you can't post links in here. Just leave a comment on the video or something. It's really weird. YouTube doesn't allow you to post URLs into comments for some reason. I'm not sure why. Okie dokie. I'm gonna get ended there, guys. It's way past my bedtime. It's 12:30. So yeah, a little bit more experimentation tonight. I am glad we got our little steering wheel to do it. No, I'm going to bed, Bailey. I'm very sorry. You probably, if you do it later, then I might catch it in the morning, or else, like I said, you know, post a link, you know, in the comment section once this video is finished, or something like that, and I'll watch the recap. So yeah, we got our G29 steering wheel to work. We know that we can capture all the inputs in Godot now that we've got that thing fixed. Obviously, we're missing a few of them, because in Godot 3 we only have 16 buttons and we actually need about 22. But that's solved in Godot 4, so I now need to figure out, you know, am I actually gonna move over to Godot 4 for this? Again, I think it's too early for it. I think it'll just hold me back, and just so that I can make the shifter work is, I think, not a good enough reason at this point in time. But by the time that we are ready to do all that stuff, yeah, I think that we'll get there in due time. Um, Next week, I think we're gonna start looking at the input side of this and actually cleaning up the input mapping, making something nicer for that. And I'm hoping to still also have a tutorial out sometime this. Well, is it maybe? Yeah, it's probably sometime this month, probably towards the end of the month. Where I'm going to do all the things that we did last week with the gear changes. I'm going to condense that into a smaller video that just purely, shows you how to do it, and I'm gonna try and keep it under 10 minutes, and that'll be part 6 of our vehicle tutorials if all goes well. So, all right, cool. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope to see some of you guys again next Friday, and we're gonna continue with this and have a little bit of fun, and yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. So thank you all for joining, and see you guys all next week. Bye.